Hello, my fellow patriots. This is Alex with Disabled Vets Perspective, and I know it's been quite a while since I've been on here live, but I had a few things I wanted to talk about today. Hello, 12B Georgia. You are the sole person in the house, except for now. Margot showed up, so we can't talk about her anymore. Got to keep it low. How is everybody? Good to see y'all. I've been having a bit of a busy last few days. I guess I enjoyed watching Pete a few minutes ago. I mean, that sounds weird, but he was talking about the potato sniffer and chief. So that was hard, but at least he talked a little bit in between so we could take a breath. But Soylent Green, how you doing? Billy Jordan and Willie Fix It, how are you? SMF Veritas, good to see you. Good to see everybody. Yep, Lisa's sitting over here next to me so she can see some of what's going on, and she's probably waving her hand. Nope. Oh, there it is, waving her hand. We actually took off for a week. We needed to get the hell out of here because Lisa was facing another biopsy, which we took care of on Monday, and we'll have the results of that from tomorrow. So I'll probably be going live from tomorrow from the Jeep, and we'll be talking about the biopsy and that kind of thing while she's getting her treatment in the immunotherapy. So that'll happen tomorrow. RRC Podcast. Hello, good to see you. Jumping over there on D Live and such. Man, it's been a minute. Well, it's been a minute for everybody because, like I said, we got the hell out of here for a week. We had to go breathe, and went over to Jacksonville to see Miss Belinda and Randy, and we actually took the Jeep out on the beach. So we drove on something besides pavement back and forth from the house to hospital. So it was kind of cool. Got a chance to get the four-wheel drive tested and all of that stuff. Lisa Battiato, how do you? Good to see you. Jeb Neil 7. Why is this thing sitting here? Oh, got something right in front of my chat that won't move. It's like a glitch. But anyway, the title says heat. We don't need heat. At least that is what they're telling you by the elites. Some amazing stuff has been happening since this country went under a polar vortex. The truth kind of comes out from certain people. Like apparently a mayor in Texas had to step down. Killer Whale, how are you doing? A mayor in Texas had to step down because basically he telling the people just deal with it. Sink or swim, folks. Sink or swim. Meanwhile, they've got control of the electric switch. DM, good to see him. PTP. Hello, Pete. Good to see you guys. Welcome. Anyway, so this mayor has to step down because basically he's probably sitting in his nice warm house and enjoying himself while everybody else is suffering and no electricity and that kind of thing. Polar vortex thing is very suspicious if you ask me. Karen, I believe you are correct. We're going to kind of go down that path a little bit today while we're talking about it. But
that black thing is only
yeah, I know. It's stuck on my computer. So anyway, you guys, some of you might have seen my video I did from the Jeep when we were on our way home from Jacksonville on Saturday, and it just kind of funny, kind of ironic, convenient that I was talking about the solar farms that we were passing with tens and tens of acres that were covered in these solar plates, these glass, solar panels. And at that time, we were dealing with rain and cloudy sky, and I was talking about the quest for this alternative energy that they're so hell-bent on, and then you set up acres and acres of glass plates, and then you get a cloudy day, you get some rain, debris, sand, dust, whatever on these solar panels, and your production gets cut by as much as 2/3 in some cases. So it's a huge amount of money. It's a massive eyesore on the property. It takes up acres of land that can frankly be used for wildlife or short-term tree growth for keeping up with that demand, for lumber and stuff like that. But I was making it a point how we're not ready for alternative energy because we destroy our environment making alternative energy happen. And I also mentioned that the windmills, these wind farms that they have, they are absolutely destroying the environment because it takes hundreds of gallons of oil to lubricate these giant generators with these blades that are stuck off of them, and then the blades themselves get damaged because of being whipped through the air all day. I mean, you get a whip effect on the backside of the blade, and even pilots know that you check your prop very carefully when you do your inspection on your plane, because the tail end of your prop can get chipping, cracking, stress marks, whatever, and you don't want that. But on these windmills, you've got 100-foot long blades on these things, and you have to hire somebody that has balls that clank, that is willing to hang on repelling lines and go down the length of these blades doing the repair to the fiberglass because of the stress fractures that are caused by the whipping. So these guys get like $2,000 an hour. And let me tell you, if I could still physically do it, I'd be one of them. I'll take that $2,000 an hour. I ain't scared. Plus, I've got repelling history and I've got fiberglass experience. So yeah, I would take that in a minute. It feels like we're living in a bullshit vortex, if you ask me. Yeah, it is a vortex of spinning bullshit. Texas alone has spent tons on infrastructure to tie in the windmills, solar farms, etc. All are usually way out of the way of the established population. That's true. And then you have to ask yourself, with all of this alternative energy that's supposed to save the planet and save the costs and be, the expenses are cut way down. Whose expenses exactly are cut way down? Because the last time I checked, our electric bills here in the Florida Panhandle have been going up every year. Well, not every month, but I mean the base price just to have a meter hooked to a pole has been going up. It went from $16 to $20 in 1 year. That's before you pay 1 cent towards your electric. But then you have your fuel charges. Fuel charges are damn near as much as your kilowatt hour charges now. So you're paying a fuel charge that is to maintain the alternative energy sources, but also to fix the infrastructure that is deteriorating. But most of the time, they don't fix it until it breaks. There is no preventative maintenance that I'm aware of. It just seems like they let this stuff sit as long as it possibly can before they have to put money into fixing it. So there's, again, everything's about the money. You got to follow the money. Everyone wants their money. So right now we are facing a catastrophe when it comes to electric. These windmills that are the end all be all, the cat's meow and all of this other crap they want to call them, they're frozen solid. Well, you get certain temperatures and you get your lubricating oil can can gelatinize, it can solidify, and then your bearings start burning up because they're not getting enough oil. So these things are frozen solid and they're not spinning. Tony Patriot, how are you doing? Hello, C. One company told its customer to go find another company because they'll be charging thousands a month. Yeah, well, guess what? Electric companies are monopolies. Yes, folks, that's right. Have you seen an alternative to your electric company in your area? Like where we live, it's Gulf Power. If you would like somebody else, you're welcome to go to Gulf Power. Oh, wait. If you don't like Gulf Power would be glad to pick you up as a customer. So if they pulled that crap on me, I'd have to tell them kiss my ass because I know the game. But here's the other little catch. If you decide in Florida that you want to put your own solar power on your house so that you don't have to be dependent upon the garbage and the monopoly, if you disconnect your house from the power grid in Florida, they'll give you a $250,000 fine. So even if you maintain your own power, if you have your own little wind generators, your own solar panels, and maybe even a propane generator, whatever, you still have to hook up to Gulf Power and you have to pay for what they call the meter drop. So just to have the meter sitting on a pole, you have to pay $20. You can't disconnect it from the grid and go away without facing an explosive fine. So that's how they get you again. But then an example of this alternative energy in California, they require the people that put solar panels on their establishment in California, they require them to hook up to the system. So when they were having these roving blackouts in California, they had people that had enough solar power to run everything in their home, but they were still getting their power shut off. And it's because they made them hook it up in the system in a way so that they can still maintain control over you. That is what this shit's about. We are quite capable of cranking up our electricity. The production, we have the facilities to produce a huge amount of electricity. Some of those are just closed. I got a buddy of mine over there in Oklahoma, and he said they literally have power production plants that have been idled for years. They're fully functional, but they were just turned off. So this is a control thing, and I believe that what they're trying to do is they're literally trying to break the back of the American people so that we will beg our government to do something to fix it. And I can see the bullshit on the walls, because what they're doing is they're going to make everybody desperate. They're going to make everybody dependent. And then they'll be glad to offer you, cheaper electric bills if you just understand you have one of them there AR-15s in your closet there. You go ahead and you just bring that on down to us, and then we'll give you a nice deduction on your electric bill. They create a desperate nation. They put pressure on you from all sides, and then they give you the chance to relieve yourself of that pressure as long as you do this for us. Now, a few minutes ago in the chat there, I just read about the social engineering, the weather modification. It's suspicious, and it really is, because the vortex, where the hell did that come from? Did anybody in your weather, did they tell you with any kind of notice that we were going to have a cold snap that is basically colder than, in some cases, some places have ever seen? It's just suspicious. They have had the capability to modify our weather since before Vietnam. And if you look at just you got to think about this the way it works. Technology. You have you buy a brand new laptop today and you have the top of the pile as far as technology goes. This thing will do anything except for serve your uncooked meals to you. So that is it. And then all of a sudden in 6 months, you start looking again at computers, and the newest computer makes yours look like it's a flip phone from the late 90s. And that, if you just take that acceleration of technology and you put it towards weather modification in the Vietnam era, they could make monsoons that would last for days and weeks. They would saturate the ground. And I think China should look into that too, because they seem to be having an awful lot of rain. But if they had that capability where they could just make it rain endlessly, why wouldn't they be able to create an actual vortex of Arctic polar air and move that around where they wanted to? Why wouldn't they be able to take a hurricane and make that sucker take a left turn, which we've seen a few times, where hurricanes drift and all of a sudden they'll go, oh, hard left, and they'll go right into somewhere that just happens to be a stronghold of conservatives and American loving people, like, Panama City when they got run over. The increasing winds, all of a sudden there's nothing to the storm. It's a category 1. And then all of a sudden, right before it hits land, that son of a bitch is chewing up metal and turning it into recycled material because they cranked it all the way up to a high category 5. The point I'm making is nothing is as it seems. We still have a control structure in place of some very evil people that have their hands on some pretty nasty tools and capabilities. So to sit here and say that, oh no, this is all conspiracy theory, that doesn't work anymore. That argument is dead, because in the 1950s is when they started experimenting with weather modification. And we are a hell of a long ways from the 1950s. Let me see here. Non-coincidence synchronicities. How you doing? Blocking out the sun. They've been doing it for years, right? Sometimes someone like the UK Gates admits to such plans. Yeah, right. They tell you what they're going to do. That's regular. That seems to be one of the rules of the Illuminati. It's only up to you if you choose to believe it or not. We can't have those evil windmills, blackbirds, lives matter. Yeah, well, they've been taking out an awful lot of bald eagles too. They're supposed to be the bird of our country and one of the most respected and all of that, national bird. But they don't seem to give a shit that they're knocking them out of the sky. They destroyed the panhandle. Yeah, they did. Even we got some of that storm, and we were on the soft side of it. We weren't even in the worst side. So the point is, they have incredible capabilities. Wild Bill's Ghost, how are you doing? Anyway, the point I'm making is that there's more to this than meets the eye. In Texas, what are they? I know their economy is like the 6th largest in the world. I'm not sure where they stand on fossil fuel production, but I know it's exceptional. But because of the desire to be controlled by other countries, the deep state doesn't allow for domestic use of our resources, or at least President Trump was trying to get us there, trying to get us to the point where we were completely independent. And people are saying, oh, well, we were energy dependent during Trump. We weren't completely energy dependent. That's just a feel good message. We were still shipping in oil. And if you're still bringing oil in from another country, that doesn't mean you're independent. It means you are still subsidized. So again, you got to look at things as they are and not as somebody makes them sound like they are. Snafu, how are you? He says hi, Lisa, too.
So,
Yeah, everybody said hi to Lisa. She's over there going like this, hey, and all that. So you should hear it from here. Anyway, you have that right, brother. They've been able to control the weather since the Vietnam War. Absolutely. Absolutely. Les Welch, thank you for joining me over there on D Live. Huey Cover, good to see you. Yeah, good Wednesday afternoon indeed. Except it's damn cold out there. And kind of a really rotten time because my son needed to have a new rear end put under his van, and it's been sitting out there with its ass end up in the air and the axle on the ground, and it's like you open the front door to go out and try to work on it a few minutes, and like, oh hell no, he can just walk. But no, it's rough. Hey, C. Hello, Lisa. That was a hello. That was off in the distance there. She's several miles away. But anyway, the whole point I'm making with all of this is that somebody has decided how miserable you will be. And it's very frustrating. Dog adopter for life says hi.
hi.
You don't talk very loud. Pinpoint a or broad shred multi-speed sutra disrupts everything. Wow, that's I don't know what that is. SATRAD. Well, satellite radiation, multi-speed SATRAD disrupts everything. I know you can disrupt frequencies with certain things, but I'm not sure what that is. I would love to have you explain that because I'm curious.
Hello, everybody.
She says, hello, everybody. I know you've probably heard her. They're messing with the weather for a long time, folks. Yeah, absolutely. And some people still say, no, that's a conspiracy theory. The problem is people won't look up stuff. It's out here. They've got it. I mean, it's a lot of this stuff is just not even hidden anymore because they feel like, oh, so what? The people know. They'll get over it. It's amazing what's out there, and ignorance now is a choice, and the people who choose to be ignorant are, I don't know what to say about them. They're crazy. Operation Popeye. Yeah, I've heard of that. I think that was the cloud seeding, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. How dare me? Yes, I dare. Sky stuff. Florida Marquee Channel is great for eyes in the sky, I imagine. Luke, welcome. So I read an article, and I've got it over here, that I wanted to bring it up here and see what you guys think. Because what it is, I read the article, and then I had somebody who got on there right after I read the said article, which is absolutely fine. And they countered what the article said a little bit. But let me see. Why won't it open? Of course, it's not going to open. All right. So anyway, it says, y'all want me to really blow your mind. The real reason that Texas doesn't have power right now is that the federal government wouldn't authorize ERCOT, whoever they are, to generate power at full capacity. We make so much energy that we sell it to other states, and we can make plenty to service the entire state in these conditions. Even with the wind turbines incapacitated and frozen gas lines. But if we ran at full capacity, which would have kept everyone's lights and heat on except for legitimate equipment failures, we would emit pollution over the mighty federal overlords' allowance for emissions. They did not give Texas permission to generate power over the emissions levels until it was too late. So, for everyone mad at Texas leadership, Encore ERCOT, direct your anger towards the right source. Due to the federal climate initiatives, the U.S. Department of Energy is withholding life-saving resources from us. This is how much your government cares about you, which is absolutely zero. They would rather you freeze to death than piss off the environmental lobbyists. This is an intentional crisis brought to you by John Kerry and his minions. Now, I can agree with that in some cases, certain cases. But, wow, this one I got to read with my bifocals. This is the response I got from Kim Odom. And I'm grateful for this kind of stuff because it takes all of us working together in order to sometimes narrow down the truth, because you get things in different directions and you don't always hit it right. NASA did this weather. They broke the barrier vortex, William Mount says it 3 days ago. I wouldn't be terribly surprised. All right, so how dare me? Of course, I dare. Yeah, that little girl's got some issues. Everybody, welcome Greta Thornbutt to the chat. All right, so it says, nope. ERCOT is an NGO nonprofit that is contracted to oversee the Texas grid, which is the only independent grid in the nation. Their own bylaws as independence prevents the buying or selling or borrowing of energy from any outside source. Texas is just figuring out how vulnerable it's left them. 5 of the board members don't even live in Texas, and Texans are pissed. This is pure organized incompetence. It's also worth noting that the Biden reinstated China's access to the U.S. power grid. Surprise, half the country is in the blackout with no estimated end in sight. Now, that is some interesting information, right? Kind of makes you wonder if we are in a situation right now where so many people are in the dark, wouldn't this be an incredible time to do something stupid like an EMP? Think about it. You've got people having weather-related power outages, or somebody's just turning off the switch, either one. Why wouldn't you come in and go ahead and flip the switch? Because you could say, oh, look at there. The weather has gotten to everybody's power. And everybody would be thinking, oh, wow, this is from the weather. We've had our power cut off because of the storm. Well, by the time people realize in 3 or 4 days that they're not getting their power back, that 3 or 4 days is a hell of a lot of time for a infiltration to take place and for all of the powers that be to get their assets in place before people are hip to the sham. So we are extremely vulnerable right now. And, you know, with Texas, I mean, with China having access to our power grid, and I can't even figure that out. Who in the hell gives a foreign country access to electricity of another country? That just the only reason you would do that is so you're allowing them to turn off the switches. And if you think an EMP is really going to be done by blowing a nuke up above Iowa, that's another example of the ignorance, because they don't have to do that now. We're all on a computer system. All they have to go is, oh, let's delete that right over there. They push one button and boom, you got your EMP. They can tell you whatever they want it to be. It's about hunting time, Patriots. We're holding the line. The line is getting very, very thin. Yeah. Mark Phillips, welcome. Um, anyway, so they don't have to do an EMP. They just have to tell you it was an EMP. They tell you what they want you to believe, and a lot of people do. Let's see. You can look it up. There's an actual treaty in Vietnam against weather manipulation that they were doing during the Vietnam. Yeah, to stop the Americans from doing it to them because they were getting soaked. Yeah, we need to be looking to God for this because this is a spiritual war. They're trying to break us. Jesse says, hello, Lisa.
Hi.
Even in Texas, even if Texas became a country, they can't control what's black thing is right in front of my chat. And look at that. They can't control what is being done in the skies above. Yeah, they could. If Texas became an independent country, they could monitor what goes on in their skies because as an independent country, if something was done to deliberately harm them by another country, the USA, for example, then yeah, there can be sanctions and all kinds of stuff put in place by that country in retaliation. And if it came right down to it, there could be war declared. I don't think they would do that, but it's there. Weather warfare, yes. Fred Prevo, how you doing? Good to see you. I know who that is. Anyway, so Johnny Boy, good to see you. Watch the two presidents on YouTube. Trey Smith, God wins. Yeah. We have Marin Electric, and we have told blackouts could happen here in southeast Missouri. Yeah, isn't that convenient? They know. Oh, they give you the warning. It looks like about 6 o'clock on let's say Friday, you're probably going to have no power. That's what I'm telling you. These people have buttons to push. They don't have to do anything. And if China is controlling our power, then that means they can push the button. We're in a bad situation. And all I can do is just bring it up so that people are prepared. And there's a lot of stuff going on in the media right now, but when people are in the house cold, the stuff that's going on in the media becomes a little more irrelevant. And, anytime there's a situation where the media is shut off to the people, which is what we're facing when you have no power, the people end up waking up a little bit more because they see what's going on. Celia's I want to be, how you doing? And Mama B, good to see you. But yeah, it's just you get the people away from the TV, you get them away from the media, and whatever happens, the gears start turning in the brain. They start thinking for themselves. I don't know if there's frequencies involved, but people that are obsessed with their televisions seem to go into a zone, and it's just weird stuff. And it wouldn't surprise me if that was the case. But anyway, so I don't really have anything else that I planned on covering other than this cold weather thing, and just hope that everybody is able to stay warm. My buddy Marshall that lives down here on my property, I went over there yesterday and he was all bundled up and had blankets on and had a little heater that he picked up at a thrift store. I could put my hand on the face of this heater and it wasn't doing anything. So I gave him a heater that I had laying here, and now he's all warmed up. So you got to be looking out after your elderly, because they cannot regulate temperature like we can as younger people. Johnny Gonzalez, how you doing? Do you think they will shut us off here in Florida? We have a little bit of a warrior here, which is one saving face, and that's Ron DeSantis. I don't think they'd get away with all of Florida, but Carmageddon, I'm obsessed with him too. It's ridiculous. Um, I think that some of the liberal mayors might try to do something stupid in some of the cities, but I don't know. I mean, I think Ron DeSantis has Florida mildly under control. We'll just put it like that. 17 above here in tropical Montana. God bless you. Oh man. My problem is, I got a whole back full of titanium. I mean, from asshole to elbow, basically. And when I get cold, and I get really, really cold, I get the kind of cold that goes literally to the bones and freezes my nerves and makes it so I can't move. It's really annoying. Arkaba, how you doing? Jean Lee, Nancy Rubeck, and giggles and laughs. That's a good thing. Well, it's public knowledge that they publicly announced that we'll own the weather by 2025. Yeah, well, that would be the public disclosure notice, but they've owned the weather since they've solidly owned the weather since probably the mid 70s to early 80s. So it's just like everything else. If you have something like your iPhone, for example, you can bet that there was a military version of it that was in use probably 10 to 15 years before you even saw it exposed in the telephone industry. You're on the TI list. Yes, they're using frequency to control all of us. Yeah, well, I wouldn't be surprised. The media is going down. People are getting exposed. Oh yeah, Pelosi caused the riots on the 6th. We have her laptop. Everything is coming out after watching Trey Smith. 2 presidents. God's got this. I believe so. I think a lot of stuff's going to come out. I think stuff's going to come out, and I think some people are just absolutely not going to accept it because, what was it, Mark Twain that says it's easier to fool people than to convince them that they've been fooled. So, yeah, people are going to be just, nope, can't accept it. Nope, that's just not true. Even if the paperwork's right in their face, they will not accept it. Yeah, Bill Gates buying up farmland. Yeah, and then he's talking about mandatory soy burgers for people. So, yeah, there's a lot of crap going on. Matrix television. Yeah, just wait for the glitch. Ugh. All right, well, this is what I've got, folks. I mean, I'm just trying to get it out there that there's more to this weather. There's more to these power outages. There's something bigger going on. They want total control and submission by the people, and they're testing ways to do it. So, hello, Joseph Basca. Yeah, I don't have to be on for an hour. Just that's what I try to cap it at. Want to move to Florida with a large chunk of property. Yeah, that's getting increasingly more difficult because property down here is getting sucked up. We live out in a place called the American Farms, and we've got 5 acres out here. And when we moved out here, it was 5-acre plots, and you could have up to 3 houses on your 5 acres. But again, money. Some developer got special permission, and now he's putting 350 to 400 homes about an eighth of a mile from my house. So we're going to have light pollution. We're going to have more people and rotten little teenagers coming around and sniffing around on people's property. The more people you get, the more susceptible you are to crime. And that's just a fact. That's nothing being said about an individual. It's just the environment. When you get more people, you get more crime. When I got your channel, there was a commercial for organic veggie burger. They wasted no time. Bill Gates has been dealt with already. Yeah, these are the things that are going to come out. But right now, when we speak of things, we have to use the terminology as if they still exist, because there's still a figurehead in the media talking to the people that represents that person. So, anywho, property getting expensive here too. Yeah, no shit. I've seen that too, DM. And property actually just about everywhere. We've been looking for a little piece up there in the Ozarks, something that we can have as a a retreat, a mountain retreat. And boy, they are up there. Hello,
Well,
preacher. How are you? I've been trying to contact you on Facebook, but apparently they have you blocked on my side, unless they've got you in Facebook jail or something. But every time you hit a post, it's not showing up. Every time I try to message you, it won't go through. So they're mad at you. What's your thoughts on Russell J. Could? I don't know what that is. I'm not sure. I don't know who that is. If you give me something to go on, maybe I might, because I see articles and I look at things all over the computer, so I don't necessarily know a name. I might know an article, but it's hard to keep up because I do go through so much. Keith Earhart, yes. Anyway, Keith EHREDT. God, I wish I knew how to pronounce that. Says stay strong, Lisa. Everyone, take a minute and say a prayer. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, we've had a rough year, but we're improving. It's getting better little by little. Yep, my name is Natalie. I heard last night the money changes over this weekend. Stock market going to crash. Yeah, be prepared for that. But there's good news on the other side of it, that the silver and gold may be released suddenly from their oppression and brought to actual value. So if you have silver, you may be looking at $4,000 an ounce. And so that could be quite surprising for some people. Charles Wright, how you doing? Good old Pete, PTP Podcast. I hope you guys are subscribed to him. If you haven't, I highly recommend getting over there. I mean, I don't like him, but I feel obligated to try to support his channel, because he's been so damn nice to us. I hate the fact that I talk about him behind his back. I feel a little guilty sometimes about it, but I get over it quickly. But anyway, if you need to be getting PTP Podcast if you haven't. Much love, Pete. Anyway, that's all I got for y'all today, but watch for me tomorrow, sometime around after Pete. Lisa's got her treatment tomorrow, so when she goes in for her treatment, I try to go live, give you an update on how things are going. And tomorrow we'll have some news on a biopsy, so watch for me around 2 o'clock, or maybe I'll cut Pete off. No, I won't. So look for me about 2 o'clock to go live, and I'll give you guys the update. But until then, much love and respect to each and every one of you. If you get articles that are significant, get my email. It's underneath all of my videos. Drop me the article. Ask me a question if you want. I'll see what I can find out about things. But also, if I put something out and you find something that counters it, don't hesitate to tell me, because I have no pride, no shame. I don't care if if I make a mistake, I'll be the first to tell you I'm sorry and I was wrong. But I need y'all's help to make sure that we stay on the straight and narrow, because it takes all of us. It takes a village. Thank you, Margot. God bless you. Appreciate all the prayers for Lisa. You guys have been a huge push in this recovery and massive support. Yeah. She's basically off the walker now. So she was in a wheelchair for 5 months, graduated to the walker for balance, because, weak muscles from lack of oxygen and stuff like that. But really the walker was only used for a couple of weeks.
Couple months.
No,
Yeah,
couple weeks. So
yeah.
Off of the wheelchair, off of the walker. She's got her portable oxygen, which she doesn't have to use 100% of the time anymore. She can actually take a break from it once in a while. So things are good, but you'll probably hear this all again tomorrow. Steak 59. How you doing? Everybody except PTP Podcast. Yep, right. All right, you guys. I will catch you all tomorrow. And until then, stay in the fight.